finding my bearings. More pick the locks than Goldilocks, the 19th century Poet Laureate's version of the story of the Three Bears solicits small sympathy for its leery, sweary, opportunistic, octogenarian breaker and enterer. Cap'n and all, as more Cap'n Oates than Cap'n Oates, this capital fellow clearly not Cap'n End, or handicapped, given that in Flash MX he's taken to flashing stolen bling as his thing, is dandicapped in a hat that's all that. He feels no guilt about the guilt of locks busted to gain Goldilocks, if not yet Goldilocks. With neither baubles nor bubbles for chumps or chimps, Southey sees, not the Southey seas, but instead, at head, the initial of the Windy City, a sign of support, rah, 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 for the Chicago Bears.
Rah, rah, rah.
Our first view is of the leafy forest floor. Its flaw is that the colours, if not evergreen, are mostly green, moistly green, too green really, to be beneath our feet, and soft enough to cushion bare feet, or indeed bare feet, as we pause to observe that these imprints aren't the "on your marks" of Human's prints. No, no, these paws bear claws, a name for nails. And nails would doubtlessly be required to affix to a wall the woodland picture, once framed and labelled as above. Mist cleared, the sylvan scene is seen, sylvanly, from the front. I don't know if it is the western front or the eastern front, but a dove bearing and perhaps as good at not losing its bearings as its carrier pigeon cousin, an olive branch, indicates
War is over.
War is over. Or war is more overseas than overseen. Like Overlord, I wish it were over. Lord? Game over! A fine weather screenshot. Much of the conflict takes place in icy conditions, nabbed from the ever-informative Wikipedia of the 1980s Atari 8-bit Eastern Front. This proggy was a toughie and predated the Total War franchise by years. Grape shot gripe! It also loaded and ran, its soldiers falling victim to the atrocious attrition and blue limbs of death caused by the cold, rather than the dismal blue screens of death that are all the non-marching March 2009's Empire Total War has delivered to my PC. Edit. No longer true. Edit, edit, I have since found a solution. Drivers from Creative Labs kicked the Creative Assembly into gears of Total War. In a May where one needn't dismay, and the graphics display, each plant painted pristine is a far more welcome bluebell. Unless it is a bramble, I mean a bramble, and scramble to ramble on and insist that you look at this roller's wrist for the watch. It's a roller's, not a Rolex, and so watch where you recline. With sponges and spongers at large, that Rolex had better be waterproof and insured against debt theft. The bramble, with a hole in its leaf looking like the eye of a pecking bird, is a vicious version of
The dove from above.
the dove from above, a sort of courageous, non-oxymoronic chicken, chicken. This backpacker's hand gesture is therefore not a rabbit or a satanic shadow puppet shape, but a secret sign divine, that of the Zen hen. From amongst the blooming bluebells emerges a grand dame, so senior she may have been laid in the bluebell lineup.
Drink up. We still have 100 more of the 1929 stars.
Or laid the bluebell line. Blue rinsed, hence the hair-hiding headscarf. Now she's more likely to end up in a lineup, not least for the crimes of her unread blue lines. Can't see the trees for the wood, and who says this woman's offence is to be a fence? Not waving or drowning, this criminal sort seems somewhat short of being a sort, and not as thick as two, or even 7 odd short planks. Look! There's a lock, there's wood, there's a wicked old woman. If she was the wicked lady, she'd be Margaret Lockwood. But if she only had to look in and sniff the whiff to identify the source of the cooking smell, she'd be Marguerite, not General, but then a girl in the grr. Despite the seeming evidence in the precedence of this platter-spattered bow-table-top tableau, General Patton did not issue a general patent for the production of Purple Heart-patterned breakfast bowls, fashioned from upturned military millinery. That's heroes' helmets to you. This little liar makes a little liar out of little small wee bears, little small wee chair. Yeah! She strikes the slats of the seat like strings, and flung unstrung if not unsung from the pile of purple pots. The fire-coloured cutlery spins as spoons, then turns to tunes, magically, musically, terpsichoreanly disposed to be transposed and transformed. The porridge pilferling pugilist packs a punch, if not her lunch, and semi-crotchetily thumps the stumps of former spoons to teas and a coffee please, from D's that could be D's. 3 B's. As freebies from free bears. If General Patton had a baton, it would be this thermometer, conveying and conducting, before being sucked in, the tempo and the temperature. Sometimes the hottest, coolest musics, made from the bluest notes. And maybe a little small wee bit hard to swallow, unless you are as hardened as our favourite forked-tongued spoon spinner, criminally crunching her way to a mouthful of mercury. Anyone who cracks a crass joke about the lead singer of Queen at this juncture risks being sent to see a senior member of staff. A fate worse than Covens or Coventry? N.B. Freddie Mercury was not in or banned from the band Poison. A lip reader might in truth be a tooth reader. Lippily, Madam bites her bottom lip with muchos force and fortitude, gracious, vivacious, and efficacious with the F-word. From profanity, pro-fanny-tea, to inanity, having stuck her neck out, breaking into the 3 Bears' treehouse cabin, the wicked old woman now sticks her tongue out. A wordless insult form of rejection theorised to have its origins in babies. Repulsing the breast once satiated. Hoping themselves to be satiated soon, the ursine pass a sign. Hunger as peckishness manifests itself as the face of Gregory Peck, carved on the club, not the cub, of the great, huge Gregory Peck faced club-carrying, great, huge bear. Awarded to their joyful joint. This is not a reference to pot, although the bears are heading home for pots. And a shock, the shock of an aftershock, and a house that has taken a trip, even if they haven't. And is it a heavenly haven anymore? Pause to get to grips. That's two grips, not
super polygrips.
Super polygrips with trips. This is my favourite sequence from Knowledge of Porridge. A pine cone is revealed and magnified as the seed in Inspection is the Seed of Detection. And this is the nadir. It's bad here, you hear, my dear? Will this Harridan harass and make it curtains for certain for the great, huge, hairy hollerer? Or will he follow her, collar her, and gulp, swallow her? Indeed. And her indoors and him indoors and all, with jaws and claws and cause to maul. She raises a finger of complaint to point out aberration and commit one, poking and popping a pupil painfully, not playful or fairly. Her lips are sealed. Don't be rude. I thought that too. Yesterday, 18th Septic Member 2009. Yes, these neat notes composed at wordpress.com before I jumped clear back here. A year's afterthoughts. I saw a van sign written for the company T. Watts. For James Watt. Look here. Oh, do pipe down. My preferred individual image, Captain Caption equals palming off stern bears. Kinda corny. We'll be playing footsie next. To play footsie, please visit the Subrime Market. Or putting our taddy ickle footsies where they done shouldn't be, as merely a little small wee bear. This diminutive chap can only be 4 feet on the table, if he has 4 feet on the table. Can we emphasise enough how teeny-weeny, how teeny-weeny he is? The value of little small wee bears' chairs has plummeted, like that of the stern bear stern's shares. He was playing footsie with. He's like a fish out of water, or a koala in Guatemala. Now, what will he leave his heirs and disgruntled graces? Knowledge of porridge, perhaps. Let's hope it is knowledge of its ace return and not of its loss. It is indicated in this final image as abundant, sweetened, milky oats in the bipartite dome of a brain. Production period main memories. German match fixing. Death of Pope. Marriage of Charles and Camilla. Abandonment of warehouse. Peculiar emergence of cousin.